Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Jae Encarnacion, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're thrilled to have Dr. Tana M Session, the founder and CEO of TanaMsession.com. Tana brings over 30 years of expertise in HR and organizational development with a unique blend of organizational psychology, DEIB leadership, and executive coaching. Based in Pasadena, California, TanaMsession.com, founded in 2014, is transforming workplace cultures for over 200 clients across industries like biotech, healthcare, and government. Recognized by Forbes as a Next 1000 and a top diversity and inclusion business leader, Tana is revolutionizing how organizations foster inclusion and engagement. We'll be exploring her founding story, how her business empowers clients, and her vision for scaling this impact-driven venture. With that being said, let's dive right in. Tana, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you so much. I'm really honored to be here. Thanks for reaching out. Looking forward to the conversation.
Absolutely. A pleasure to have you on the show, Tana. So let's start at the top for our listeners here. If you could take us back to the beginning, Tana, what specific problem in the HR or DEIB landscape really inspired you to start TanaMsession.com?
I've been in corporate America and had reached what I consider to be the plateau, the upper echelon of HR leadership. And what I realized was that a lot of the companies that I was going to as I was growing my career were experiencing similar issues. And I started to think about what if I'm able to work with multiple companies to help solve the same issues versus one at a time and then moving on every 3 to 5 years. And talk to some friends that have been doing consulting for years, and they seemed very happy with their sense of freedom and flexibility, but also the impact that they were having with multiple clients. And then people started reaching out to me proactively, either asking me to speak on panels or if I was open to consulting or mentoring them because they were growing their HR career. And so I just took the leap. I took a 3 month leave of absence from my last corporate job. And I said to my husband and my son, look, things are going to be a little different around here for the next 3 months. I'm trying to build a business. And they were very supportive and said, we think you should. And I said, look, if I don't have my first client or my first speaking engagement or my first book written within these 3 months, I'll go back to work. And at the end of the 3 months, I had all three done. So I haven't been back yet.
I love it. I love it. With that, I would definitely love to get into the nuts and bolts of what you're doing with the business,
Okay.
especially for our listeners who could end up coming and working with you, being clients of yours after this episode airs. So really walk us through, Tana, how you're really generating revenue today. So the core offer, what that customer journey looks like. I know that you have DEIB assessments, cultural audits, executive coaching. Is that one-on-one coaching, group coaching? Really walk us through those core offers and how it's structured for your clients.
Okay, perfect. So my business is based on human resources and organizational development consulting. And what I tell people is that's really change management through the culture, through the lens of the culture. And yes, there's components of diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging in that only because it has to be. That's part of the role that I bring, the knowledge that I bring to the table, as well as the fact that I want to make certain that it cascades throughout the organization in a way that creates an inclusive and belonging place for all employees. From an executive leadership perspective, I do one-on-one coaching. I really don't like doing group coaching because at that level, I'm usually dealing with very senior level executives or C-suite executives, and they really want to have that private space where they can be vulnerable and transparent, talk about the things that are keeping them up at night in that safe space. And so I usually consult on a quarterly basis, anywhere from 1 to 2 executives, and we usually work together for 6 months or longer. So I'm very strategic in that perspective and also very intentional when it comes to the coaching. And I'm certified, multiple certifications in coaching, and have been doing it and doing it very well. And I get very good feedback as well as referrals. So that's always a good thing.
Um,
And then I still do speaking engagements. Even throughout COVID, I was doing speaking engagements remotely. I was also doing media contributions, talking about different workplace things that take place, whatever is the hot topic of the moment. Oftentimes, different news stations, whether it's TV, media, print media, will reach out and interview me and get my perspective. So I still do that as well. And that's the nuts and bolts of it. My team and I were also HR consultants for organizations that don't have HR, or maybe they have a very small or a junior HR team. And so they'll look to bring someone like myself in that have over 30 plus years of experience across the gamut of HR from a high level generalist perspective that can really help move the organization forward through the lens again of HR and organizational development. So we have some clients where we're their sole HR consultant, everything's outsourced to us. And then we have others where we complement the HR that they already have.
Beautiful. So, Tana, what would you point to as, I mean, you have so many different kind of offerings there. Is there one or two specific ones that this is my bread and butter? This is bringing in 70 to 80% of the revenue. Do you have anything along those lines?
Yeah, I would say the HR consulting. So really working with consult with companies that either don't have HR or they're looking for someone to complement what they already have in place. And that's really probably about 80% of our business. So we really love doing that work. Again, that's where I grew my career in HR, and I tell people I've done everything from recruiting to all the way up to being the chief human resource officer. So I have that breadth of experience and knowledge that I can bring to the table, as well as understanding employment law from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast, as well as globally.
Absolutely. The thing there, and I would love to hear your take on this, Tana, is I've had other guests on the show that are in similar spaces within the HR realm. And the thing is that scalability is tough to predict there. What is your take on how you see your business scaling and the scalability with the offers that you have? How do you approach that side of it?
It comes in ebbs and flows, right? And being known as I have been for many years as someone who does diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging work, let's say, I could definitely see the ebbs and flows in that over time. So I've been doing that work since 2007. We saw a peak around 2022, 23, a little bit of 24, and now we're seeing a huge decline, right? Whether it's those that are internal that were doing the work and maybe they've been laid off or they've been morphed into different roles, or people such as myself as a consultant. And so luckily, because I do have the variety of experience in human resources, I can pivot very quickly in terms of my offerings. And so now my focus really is more aligned with organizational development, cultural transformation, employee development, and then retention as well as performance management. And so those are some of the areas now where people are bringing us in to partner with them because their shift has focus in regards to what they're looking at employee in terms of the employee experience.
So with that there, obviously you've been in the game for quite some time, Tana, and you're seeing that success there. What would you attest to being the best acquisition method for you right now? Whether that is that referrals, like you mentioned, or ads, if you're running them, social media, that presence there. What can you say is the best channel or avenue for the acquisition consistently?
It's definitely referrals. We get a lot of referrals. A lot of our work comes through that from either current or former clients. And then we have a decent presence on LinkedIn. And I tend to get a lot of referrals through there. Either people reach out to me directly, or someone may recommend me, and then they'll go look at my presence on LinkedIn or go to my website and they'll contact me through the website. So we also do outreach. So twice a year, we do a huge outreach of all current and former clients just to not only just to say hi and keep in touch, but also to see what problems are they experiencing that perhaps we can help solve or look at through a different lens than perhaps they are because they're so close to it. And so we have strategic outreach that we do twice a year, and that generally brings in new business as well, whether it's clients that we haven't been working with for a while and they're like, oh yeah, I remember Tana, she did a great job, let's bring her back. Or it may be someone who we're currently working with and they hadn't thought about us from that perspective in terms of the breadth of offerings that we have.
Gotcha. So Tana, with that there, same mindset of having other guests on the show, they're seeing success on that referral side, but the thing that they do say is that it's not predictable there. So how do you go about when the pipeline starts to slow down a bit if the referrals aren't coming in? Do you have another avenue as far as thinking about that scalability side? How do you approach that side? Is it on the ad side or going a different way? What does that look like in your mind?
No, not on the ad side, because I did that early on as I was growing my business and
Yeah.
didn't necessarily see a return on the investment. Like I tell people, that's why I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook or Instagram because they just never churned business for me. The platform that really did work for me and continues to be is LinkedIn. So that's where we spend our time, but we still don't do advertisement there. I'm strategic about what I post on there in regards to sharing my perspective, letting people know what problems I'm thinking about, or what are the things that we're working with clients on that maybe an aha moment for them. So the scalability is It's hit or miss, honestly. My team and I, we don't sit back and think, okay, how are we going to scale a business this year? Like from that perspective, we think more so about what are the trends, what are the problems that our clients are experiencing, what are the new things that they've experienced that we never had to touch before, and then how do we package that in a way and proactively push it out? And so that's how we work to scale. And then I still go to conferences and speaking engagements as well. So that gets me in front of my ideal clients too.
I love it. I love it. So with that there and having a good understanding on that side, I know you keep mentioning you have your team with you. What does that
Yeah.
sales process look like? Do you have a sales team, marketing team, or is your team, what is that team dynamic there that you have?
My team is small but mighty. I've been working with them now for 5, almost 6 years. I have my executive coordinator, and then I have my operations manager. And they think about my business in ways that I don't even think about it. And I tell people it's always good to surround yourself with young people. They're younger than me. They're more tech savvy and they have really great research skills. And they help me come up with topics for my monthly newsletters and stuff like that. So not an official sales team, but we work together. We meet on a weekly basis. We look down the road in terms of where the business is going. As we have clients that are sunsetting, we're thinking ahead in regards to how do we now bring people into the pipeline. So by the time this client sunsets, we have a new one ready to go. So that's how we look at it is we manage everything through shared documents and updating each other weekly. And my team does a really good job of follow up as well. I wouldn't be here talking to you without that because they do an excellent job at that.
Amazing. So with that there, are you running the show when it comes to the sales side of things? Is it just the Tana show on that?
No, I would say it's me and my operations manager. She's really the one who's the first point of contact for clients, both new and also keeping in touch with those that either we've worked with before and their contracts have sunset, or with ones that we are currently working with, and maybe we realize like there's some other things we could be doing here. So she's really good at proposals and RFPs, those types of things, because we do go after RFPs as well. The idea with those is that you'll have steady income because you have this project and it's for a certain period of time and a certain amount per month. And then you just layer on top of that these one-off clients or one-off speaking engagements or maybe these shorter term consultant engagements. So I would say it's the two of us working together, but she tends to, again, think about the business in ways that I don't. So sometimes she's ahead of the pack with me, ahead of the curve with me even.
I love it. So is this something that as you continue to grow and see success and scale, are you trying to hire more support in that area? So obviously she doesn't have too much, you don't have too much on your plate. Are you looking to go towards that like kind of setters and closers mentality to keep on building up that side, or is everything rolling how you want it to be rolling right now?
Yeah, it's pretty good right now. I think status quo works for us where we are right now.
Yeah.
And this time of year, I don't know when this will launch, but this time of year for us, we're going into our slow season, which is the summer months.
Yeah.
So a lot of our clients, if you can imagine, are planning their vacations and people are going to go away. And so we know that this is a slower time of the year for us. And we take that to our advantage where we revisit some of our trainings and look to see if we can refresh them, if I can do some on-demand recordings of those trainings just to start pushing that stuff out to have more options for clients that maybe can't necessarily invest in the price point of bringing me in personally, but they are more than happy to get their employees an on-demand training by me. We just look at it from that perspective. But yeah, not looking to bring anyone else on right now.
Love it. I love it. I love it. So talk to us about with the way things are going. It really sounds like things are clicking on all cylinders for you, Tana. So what is a bottleneck that you're thinking about right now, whether it is consistent quality lead generation or converting those leads into clients? What's on your mind as a bottleneck that you're really trying to push through and continue to grow?
As I shared with you before we started, I'm finishing up my last semester of law school, and I'm thinking now about what's Tana 3.0 going to look like, right? And what that will look like for my clients. So how do I bring now this legal aspect that I'll have as an extra tool in my toolkit to my clients? Does it mean I go after different types of clients? Does it mean that the clients that we have now, we're able to grow within their business, maybe as a general counsel versus an HR consultant. So I'm just looking at it from that perspective. As I finish up this last semester, graduate in December, take the bar in California next February in 2026. It's just now a matter of thinking about what do I do with that new tool that I'll have.
Yeah, incredible, Tana. You're doing so much already. A doctor, going to law school, taking the bar.
Yeah.
Man, that's the beauty of the show is really is how are you juggling? all of that? How are you wearing so many hats and still have the ability to come on a podcast and have such a cool, calm, collected demeanor about you? Just truly an honor, Tana, to have you on the show. So with that, I
Oh, thank
definitely
you.
would absolutely. I would love to understand a bit more. I know you gave us a bit right there, but what does the rest of this year look like for the business itself? What are you laser focused on, really trying to take to that next level? Talk to us a bit about that. Paint us that picture.
I think definitely client acquisition, as everyone probably is right now, especially in the consulting world. I'm always reading trends and what's happening as a consultant, and I know that there's a downturn happening just across the board, regardless of what type of consulting that you're doing. Even Ernst& Young and Accenture and others looking at PwC are looking to downsize because they don't have those government contracts the way they used to, and they needed all those consultants. And so I understand where we are as a nation as it relates to my industry and the type of offerings that I bring to the table. And so that's why we are looking to pivot, right? Like maybe we do more on-demand trainings and really push people in that direction, something that's easier, faster to digest versus, oh, I need to bring in a consultant and work with them for 6 to 12 months, right? So over the next, through the summer, as I said, it's slow. That's when we do a lot of our strategy work. So we're going to spend a 2 day intensive just really looking at the business through a forward-looking lens, factoring in, oh, by this time next year you'll be an attorney. So what do we do with that? Do we rebrand? Do we repackage? Do we do this and that? So that's what we'll be doing over the rest of the year.
Love it. Just continuously looking at ways to grow and expand. You mentioned just the way of the world right now, with things slowing down, you have to be able to pivot. And I think that's a huge piece for
Exactly.
our listeners right there, who are other founders and entrepreneurs. Even when you do see success, you always have to have a plan, right? Because
You
things
do.
out of your control can just go left and you have to be able to pivot. So I think that's a huge lesson there. And I love that you brought that up because I think everyone tuning in right now that is running a business needs to keep that in mind always. Talk to us, Tano, how do you see the HR and the DEIB consulting industry as a whole evolving in the coming years? As you said, you saw that height 2020, 2021, 2022. Now you're seeing
Mhm.
that downturn. Where do you see it going in the next coming years here, especially with your psychology backed approach, getting your law degree? What are you doing for to keep yourself at the forefront of that evolution?
Well, the good thing is the pendulum always swings. And so it swung so far this year away from any even mentioning the words diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. I think inclusion and belonging are okay. But at the end of the day, I told people I don't care if they call it Mickey Mouse as long as they're doing the work.
Yeah.
I don't think the work's going to change. I think that the demand won't change in regards to the type of work that this helps to address and the issues that this helps to address in company cultures. And as you have the more diverse younger generation entering the workforce. So Gen Z are the most diverse group socially, ethnically to enter the workforce. And you have 1 in 5 that identify as a member of the LGBTQ plus community. So they are diverse and there's nothing you can do about it. And that's the future workforce. So organizations that are stepping back and away from it, they're leaving money on the table in regards to talent. And so I think the organizations that are standing firm, that are saying that this is important to us, this is the foundation of how we operate and who we are. I think those are the organizations that we're going to see continue to excel, like the Costco's and others. The stock prices are going to go up, so the stockholders are going to be happy as well. But more importantly, the employees are going to be happy. And that's what this work is all about, is creating a place where all employees feel they belong, all employees feel they can be successful, that they're valued, that their voice is important. And I think that future is still here, right? It's gotten a little quiet. Yes, there's been a huge push in terms of pushing it out, but what we're going to see, and I'm pretty confident about this, is this next generation is going to continue to rise and rebel and say this is important to us. And organizations that are saying it's not, we don't want to work there. And so good luck because Gen X, my generation, we're getting older, we're retiring. The boomers are already doing that as well. So who's your generation that you're going to go after? The millennials? Yeah, you can. The average age of a CEO is 54 years old. That's my age group. That's Gen X. But that millennial and that younger Gen Z, yeah, good luck.
I love it. And then just to take us into the lightning round here, Tana, first and foremost, I would love to hear about a tool or resource that you're using. Maybe it's a psychology insight, an HR strategy, an AI tool. What's really been a game changer this far for the business?
I would say Chat GPT actually. I was not a proponent for it. My team was using it. And I was like, what is this thing? And I don't trust it. And just go to Google, just go to Google. And they're like, we're supplementing it with Google, right? And so I took a course, an elective course, 2 semesters ago in law school, and it was AI and technology in the legal field. And I learned so much that I said, okay, I need to get on this chat GPT thing and really figure out what this is. And it has been really a game changer because we've been able to work faster and smarter for our clients. We've been able to rethink and refresh things that we have already been doing, looking at it through a different lens. And so that to me was one of the things that really helped move us forward as an organization is embracing AI as a tool, right? Not using it as putting my name on it and this is mine, but using it as a tool to help us ideate, to help us look at things that we were already doing and say, okay, how can we refresh this or how can we rephrase this in a way that really says what I want it to say? And then it's still taking that and adding my voice to it. But again, with a team as small as we are, small but mighty, that's one of the things I think has really helped us be much more efficient, forward thinking, and technologically advanced.
Love it. And then just to finish us off here, Tana, what is the best piece of advice that you can offer to our listeners tuning in? Just heard your incredible journey this far, motivated by everything that you're being able to do, still be a mother, a wife, and just have
Um,
so much drive and passion. What can you give them before we wrap up the show today?
don't give up.
Mm,
Don't give up. I know it's easier to quit. Trust me, I have moments when I want to do that and I want to say, you know what, this is too hard, or this is not working, or business is slow. Why am I still doing this? No one cares, like all of these things, right? And we have these feelings, especially as founders, as entrepreneurs, we get in our own heads and we may or may not have people around us that understand this journey. It's a unique journey. We're hunting and eating what we kill, right? Every single day. And so much like the lions, if you don't hunt that day, you don't eat. And it's a different mindset, but it can also be exhausting. It can be defeating. And you, again, especially if you're a solopreneur, you don't have others that you can talk to about this, you get in your own head about it. I had to pull myself out of it earlier this year. And just know that you're needed, you're valued, and the right person will say yes. And no is not no, it's just not now. And that's how I have to start to embrace it. Rejection can bruise the ego, hurt your feelings, make you feel like second guessing yourself. But I like to look at them as either areas for development, like maybe I need to improve my pitch, maybe I need to improve my offerings, we need to do a better job with our RFPs, versus, oh, they don't want me. No, they just don't know they want me yet.
I love that. With that, right there, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. Tana, I can't thank you enough coming on the show,
Thank you.
sharing that amazing journey of yours and your insights. And again, as I mentioned, clear as day, just the drive that you have, the passion, the work ethic. It was an honor to have you on the show. So thank you so much again. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, which I know so many of you have, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also check out Tana M Session .com at TanaMSession.com to learn more about their DEIB and HR consulting services, and follow Tana on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/Dr. Tana M Session. For more resources and insights, you can visit us at closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth through trained appointment setters and world-class marketing systems. Until then, keep climbing, and we'll see you on the next one.